Hello everyone, and welcome back to Properton. Just admiring our main street here that runs through the core part of our city. We have some really big plans today for our city to further our expansion. We're going to be raising the roof, we're going to be densifying, we're going to be expanding into some more rural builds, adding in some more industry, and cleaning up some grids and detailing and all those kinds of things. So pretty excited to get started with all that. Before we begin, just wanted to take a quick note to mention some thanks to a couple content creators out there who've been supporting me along the way and helping me get some settings fixed. That includes Jas Creates, Brined Pickle, and Stiletto in the City. Link to their channels are in the description below. Please give them a chance and check them out. And they've been really helpful to me in planning episodes and fixing settings in DaVinci for my editing software and OBS as well. I'm thinking that audio issues are resolved now, and do appreciate everyone's patience. So again, check out those creators. Links are in the description below, but we'll get started with building. So just pause the game in an overview of the city so far. And where we started was basically in this area, and we have this main collector running through, kind of splits off and then starts again over here as we started building some density. So we'll be looking at kind of densifying this sort of square block here almost. It's not quite a perfect square, but kind of in here. And then what we're also going to do is continue to build out some low density here. We're actually going to unlock a few more tiles as well. We have a lot of great resources over in these areas. We have some big farming patch right here. There's actually some oil over here or over here as well. So what I'm thinking is we'll maybe dive into trying to build a bit more of a rural town over here, and then kind of make this more into a bit of a medium to high density city. And then what these two will do is they'll kind of be the starting small town of the Properton region, I guess you could say. And we'll look at building in some other areas further down the line. I've got some plans for maybe over here as well, and down over on this side as well. So, but you'll have to stick around and subscribe for those later episodes if you want to see all those builds. So anyways, that's the overview. Let's get started. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is unlock some tiles. So we're going to want to basically unlock a big selection here. We'll purchase all those. And that'll kind of be probably enough for now. We'll purchase more if we need, but that'll be the main focus there. And we need to connect these two sides of the city besides just this highway here. So we'll be building interchange here, and then also some connections through this side of the city. Alright, it's a little crude, but we have ourselves a intersection here. Anyways, I'm still getting kind of used to some of the road tools, so we'll carry on. We'll turn our contours on for this part, and you can see it drops down quite steeply there. And we want to sort of try and match the best we can to the other side. So we'll probably hook in, and we'll go into our simple curve mode. See, maybe we'll do continuous instead. And we'll just sort of try and work this down the slope the best we can. Kind of coming close to our contour lines. And kind of trying to keep the slope as gentle as possible. Till about there. And then if you want to take this terrain height on this side, right click here on the road, and we'll left click on the other side. Give ourselves a bit of a landing pad. And just bridge straight across if it'll kindly let us. Sometimes starting on the other side works better. There we go. Place that there. And then just go straight in. We can clean up some of that placement with the replace tool a little bit, but now that we have this extra collector in, we do need somewhere for it to go. So I was thinking we'll try and kind of hook it in as a couplet into an area that kind of makes the most sense. So sorry, I think I bumped the mic there. If we come into, we have this road here that kind of goes past the radio tower and the cemetery. So we'll hook on to that one first, into our continuous mode again. And we'll just try and snap nicely into that guy line, just get a little closer look. Right about there should do it. Excellent. And then we'll kind of bring this road in on the other side. Try and snap it the best we can. Let's see if that comes in a little nicer. Right about to there. Nice thing with these new road building tools, you can go quite far here. Hook it in there. And, you know, they do a pretty decent job of, you know, cleaning up the intersection the best you can. And we can kind of soften some of the terrain here. And if we come to the replace tool and turn off a lot of the snapping, we can try and maybe slide that segment over. Maybe push this one over as well. And just sort of make some tiny little adjustments along the way until we're a little bit happier with where the road is sitting. And then what we can actually do maybe is just delete this part of the road, come back into our simple curve, and we'll just snap into the guideline here. Like so. There we go. Now that road looks nice, all cleaned up. It's nice and connected in here. We'll just come into our advanced road tools again and just make some changes real quick. Take the lights off, and we'll remove all the crossings as well, so we won't need those. And that'll be perfect. So that'll have our highway connected into our city. And then what we'll simply do is just upgrade our roads down here as well into one-ways. That way. Right about till there. We'll turn our snapping back on. Have it go that way. And I've done that backwards. Have that go like that. There we go. And this one will go into there like so. And you know what? While we're at it, why don't we just keep it going right into the other collector as well. And we'll divert this one a little bit from here. And then it can go out like that. And that's perfect. Alright, now that we have our collector couplet in place, we're going to work on getting some of our farms here. This area is very rich in fertile land. If you look in our natural resources tab, there's a pretty big deposit here. So we'll be getting a couple farms in here first, come into our specialized industry. The livestock farming can be placed anywhere, so we'll be looking at grain and vegetable. And we'll even probably squeeze in a textile farm as well. So let's start with our grain farming. So when I'm placing these buildings, I always try and sort of look at this ring and see, okay, where can I place the building to sort of maximize the coverage of the field, as well as making sure that the building doesn't take up too much of the fertile land. If you try and place it out here, it doesn't really seem to sort of cover a lot of land, so placing it kind of more in the middle of the field will work better. So what we'll do is we'll place that one down, and we'll quickly draw out a zone here, and we'll snap it to the side of the road maybe as well. And then we'll get it very crudely drawn in for now, because we're going to come back and sort of place in some roads and that kind of stuff, and I don't want to cut off the road connections too much. So we'll place down a vegetable farm as well, and we'll do the same thing, and we'll probably hook it right into this grain farm there. Again, pretty crude field. And finally we'll put a nice cotton field as well, and maybe we'll turn this one around and try and sort of place it more down in this area. And again, quickly just get a small little zone out just so we can get our roads in like that. So what we'll do is we'll take a 2-lane road, and we'll run it using our curve mode. And what we can do is we'll just run it right sort of through the middle here. That way we don't create too much of a cul-de-sac by having sort of some other road connections, and we can build over in this area as well. Again, looking at our natural resources tab, this would be a prime area for some housing and that kind of stuff. So again, this area is going to be quite rural, so we'll come in, we'll take our, we'll take the gravel road. Oops, turned off the wrong thing there. And we'll snap it to the side of the building. And actually, you know what? I like that curve. See if this will take. Yes, gives it a road connection. So didn't really plan on that one, but I actually liked how that looked. So again, we'll snap it to the side of the building, and then just give it a nice curved driveway in. Just a little something different, you know. Trying to find ways to design differently in this game. Seems that we don't have access to any of the props or anything like that yet, but I'm sure that's coming soon once all these performance issues are addressed and fixed and stuff like that. So the other thing we have to check is, did our power and water come across on the bridge? And it looks like it did. So these buildings here should be all connected now, which is great. So we'll come back into the building here now, and if we come over to this side here, the area tool, we can adjust the size of the lots. So we'll do that. Alright, so if we take a look into our production tab, I know this is currently bugged. That's the wrong button, which is why I'm not, you know, building too fast in Cities Skylines 2, just to kind of let the game catch up. But if we look at our production versus deficit, you can see we're still a little short on livestock and vegetables. So we'll look at getting those in here as well. There's a little bit of land still available here. So we'll place down another vegetable farm. I think vegetable is over here as well. Well, let's see first how much more of this we can expand. Maybe there's a little more fertile land. If we just make a second node here, we can sort of squeeze this one, make it a bit bigger, and try and boost its production. But we'll place another small one down here anyways, and see how that goes. And this one, what we can do is maybe we'll place the building nice and close to the water. I'll actually just turn it around a few times until I find the direction that I want. Let's go with right there, and then we can sort of place in our zone, and then we'll do the same thing again. We'll just get a small little zone in, grab a gravel road, and just sort of run it along the water here. And up into there. It's a pretty crude looking road. Let's see if I can fix that. That didn't really use the continuous mode like I expected it to. So there we go. That looks a lot nicer. Alright. Get these zoned fixed here. Drag it out. And there's not much for fertile land down here, but for the sake of some aesthetic of the farm look, we'll extend it anyways. And there we go. We got the start of a little farming area. That's looking really nice. And we'll move on to getting our rural town built. So we'll be building over in this area, and I want to try my best to sort of move a little bit away from something that's really gritty, at least a very like straight and tough grid. So we're gonna try and play around a little bit. Let's get our contours turned on, and yeah, this area is, you know, decently flat to build in. There's a little bit of change in height, but you know, I'm gonna just sort of leave it as it is, and you know, try and embrace some of the contours in this game. So we'll take our grid tool, and we'll just kind of see what we can come up with. We're going to turn snapping to zoning cell length off and snapping to guidelines. Tip from City Planner Plays on trying to get some nicer grids in here. So if we just kind of drag it across, at what angle can we take it down to 120? If that'll sort of work. And if we just, yeah, just like that, and it's gonna not quite like that. So if we can just get it to a point where it'll connect there. Okay. Looks pretty interesting, but we'll clean up the roads here in a second. But you know, you kind of get the idea of what I'm sort of going for here, is that, you know, we'll try and use this one sort of bent road here to try and change up our grid quite a little bit. And then, yeah, we'll clean up some of the uglies here in a second. Alright, so we got a little bit of a basic grid going here. Tried to play around a little bit with some of the roads, but some things didn't quite go how I wanted. But, you know, for the most part, it's a little bit more of a different design. And here we're going to start to bend the grid just another way, just to sort of, again, change our direction. So, again, our plan in this area is going to be mostly like a rural village idea. So I'm actually going to place down an area here because we will have area specific services over here. So I'll place quite a large one for now, and we'll clean it up later once we unlock some more tiles and build a little bit more. But for now, we'll include up to there. We'll bring it there, and then start another one. And the great part is you can basically almost snap these right into another one, so it really allows for a lot of neat precision when you're creating your neighborhoods and that kind of stuff. You know, in some of the areas I live, you can kind of just almost trip and fall into another city or neighborhood without even realizing it. So I find this tool quite useful and realistic when it comes to some realism. So we're gonna place single family housing here, and we might do a little bit of row housing, but we'll see. The plan will be to sort of have some smaller housing here. There'll be less services, so maybe we can have some bigger homes, but you know, then the rent too high complaints won't come flooding in, and we'll just do some really nice selective zoning. I think by using the grid tool, I may have not quite got the grids that I want, but you know, for the most part, it's actually sitting how I would want it. So again, if we just do some selective zoning, then things should kind of grow in the way we want them. We'll leave a few gaps and that kind of stuff if we need to, but I'll work on a little bit of this, and then we'll be back. Alrighty, so now that we have some low density housing growing in, we're gonna get into our rezoning, and as you can see, we've got a few abandoned buildings and that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna pause the game for a moment, and we're going to take Barrow Mills and we're coming to our district creation tool, and we're gonna expand it quite a bit into that area that I was kind of mentioning. So this will go kind of in this whole area here. Use the voice still. You know, I was over COVID a long time ago, but some of the after effects are quite lingering. So anyways, and yeah, it'll kind of encompass this whole area here, and we'll probably take it up to there as well, and this will all get slated for redevelopment into some higher density. And actually what we'll do is we're going to take it right back to anything that's kind of within the area of this collector. Now that we have like a BRT sort of running down the middle, and that'll basically just make it easier for our citizens to get around, and also hopefully incentivize them to take a lot of mass transit here. So we'll come into our zoning, and the first thing we'll do is we'll probably work on some of the housing. As you can see, some of these roads are no longer getting appropriate for low density housing, and commercial. What we'll probably end up doing is a lot of it will get wiped out into mixed use. So I'm going to take our zoning tool here and we'll unpause the game, and we'll just kind of go over these zones a little bit and replace a lot of the zoning with some of our mixed use. And we want to do that down this collector so that it looks, you know, nice and large. Large. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. You know, we want the height down the collector is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, we'll replace some of our low density housing here with some medium as well. And then as we get a little closer here, this was all European here, so we'll transition into some of the European mixed use. And again, we'll be very selective with where we zone and how much we zone, just to try and sort of basically just replace existing buildings the best we can. Once we get some of the high density commercial unlocked as well, then that'll also kind of help us with what we're doing here. But in behind here, we'll change that zoning as well, this one here. And yeah, anything basically in this vicinity is going to get slated for redevelopment. It'll take some time for it to sort of transition over, but yeah, we'll keep on zoning here. Alright, well while that finished growing in and doing all its changes here, we'll kind of just move on to one other sort of project for today. So one of the other zone special areas that we need, we come back into our city budget here and look at our production tab. Now we have quite a huge stone deficit, and this will actually help our citizens upgrade their houses and those kinds of things. So we'll come into our specialized industries here again, and we'll find an area that's, you know, maybe over in this space here that's a little away from this farming area, because we still got some nice fertile land there that we can take advantage of. So one thing to watch is when you're looking at different zones, it won't tell you where they are. Like if you're looking at vegetable farming, it'll only show you where natural resources are. Oh, we're switching to fall. Look at the colors! Oh, finally a different season. Anyways, sorry, distracted. So you come into our natural resources tab. That way we can kind of see, okay, where would be an ideal place to put this in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in and start our stone mine. And again, just looking at natural resources, kind of somewhere actually up over here, even near the highway would work. What we'll do, one more change of plan, is we'll actually go across here and we can tuck it in the back over here next to this ore and oil area. We can actually place quite a large stone mine if we really wanted to, but I'll put the building maybe down here, and we'll get this all placed in. And yeah, I'll make sure our snapping is on. Might be able to come out of this. There we go. Info view. Oh, sorry, trees. They're so beautiful. Sorry, fall's my favorite season. So anyways, and you know what? I think this building has done that little glitch where it doesn't appear correctly. So we'll try that again. And if I can find the right tab. So distracted by the trees. Oh my goodness, guys, you have no idea. There we go. Looks like it'll be visible there. So let's try this again. And we'll try not to wipe out all the trees. Maybe we'll just cut this zone a little smaller on this side. Get that hooked in there. And then we'll just adjust some of it. I have to admit, I probably joined Few Candy in not being overly thrilled. I think the industries in this game is going to be really good. I think just having these giant mining things spawn in, I don't know. I'm not a major fan, but you know, anyways, I'm sure with some of the feedback that people have been passing on to the Colossus Order, again, once the performance issues are handled like they've talked about, then we'll see some of these things maybe get changed or upgraded. But we'll bring that road in here, and then we'll connect this up, and hopefully, yeah, we'll have some good stone mining available for our citizens, and then that should make it more affordable for them to upgrade their buildings, hopefully get them more money too, and then they can afford their rents and all that good stuff. So we'll get that hooked up into there, just like that. And yeah, now we have our stone mine. Come back to our little hillside corner. Look at it with all the fall trees. Oh, it's just so amazing. I love color. Yeah, this little town will need a few more services. Looks like there's still some low density demand in here, so we'll work on a little bit of that. Well, our densification plans are well underway. Really loving how this street is looking so built up and just turning into really great shopping streets. We've got a bunch of mixed-use buildings here. It's getting a little bit difficult just to redevelop a lot of different areas just because we are lacking in some of our demands here. Looking at our demand bar, we're really high in commercial, but just a little bit lower in some of our medium and high density. So those mixed-use buildings just aren't quite growing in yet. But one thing we will be looking at is to maybe try and balance our budget a little bit better, and then continue our growth. We do have some really high commercial and industrial demands, so we'll also be taking care of that, but we'll be saving those for future episodes as this one is kind of run on a little long. So do appreciate everyone tuning in. Hopefully all these audio issues have been solved as well and you really enjoyed today's video. If you did like it, please consider subscribing and also leaving a like, maybe even a comment. Let me know what you enjoyed. I really appreciate you guys being with me here today. So take care and bye-bye.